The Big Pit. Far out on the northern outcrop of the South Wales coalfield, soon to close. The men who still work the mine tell the story of the colliery.
Started in the mines about 1935. At the time when I started work, we were about 1,700 men, because we used to have what was termed a combined lodge at that time. It was K-slope, Garndrift, Blaenavon, and Big Pit as such. Of course, now we're down to just one, which is the pit, which in essence is colliery with a manpower about 253, and this is taking everyone in.
We are not solely Blaenavon workforce here. We are from surrounding areas, brought in nowadays by omnibus, where we used to, in years gone by, only be solely Blaenavon people because they had to walk to work.
You may be surprised at the name of the pit being the Big Pit, especially when you consider that the shafts are only just over 99 yards deep. It's called the Big Pit because it was the largest pit in the Blaenavon area working coal for the coke ovens and steelworks. So the reference or the name doesn't refer to the shaft, but more so to the capacity of output. It's an elliptical shaft, which is unusual because most shafts are circular, and it's believed that the reason for it being an elliptical shaft was that when it was first sunk, it was sunk as a twin shaft for ventilation purposes, where they'd have the fresh air going down the one side and the foul air coming up the other side. Well, the first plough was installed in the G8 district in the Garrow seam, the seam we are working now. And it was installed in about June 1974. The forge hasn't changed at all since the pit was opened. As you can see in there, there are 6 blacksmith forges still in the building, only one at the present being used. But there was a time, I understand, when all 6 were in full production, day and afternoon shift, making all sorts of things, you know, for the pit. 1 or 2 were kept fully occupied, only making shoes for the horses.
I had a 6-month training period with the shoesmith who was working in here. Well, I started off with a straight bar of iron. I had to form my own shoes in the forge and then put them on. The only things they supplied me with was nails and bars of iron or so. There's the bob tools, fullers, drawing tools, with the different tongs, goosenecks, hollow bits, flat bits, swan neck, angle tongs. There's a lot of different names there, but that will vary from colliery to colliery.
It used to be you drive your main road, like a main road in your town, and off there you turn side roads then, what we called stalls. You had the main head in the stall, pillar and stall we called it, and you drive these roads 14 yards apart. Then a man would have his length of ground at 7 yards each side. And he'd be working in there with a boy, filling coal by hand. But now it's all mechanization.
We're producing 1,600 plus tons a week. And of that 1,600 tons, 1,400 tons go to Llanwern, and the other 200 tons goes to the local domestic market.
When you went through the door, you were afraid that horses were going to kick out if you're not used to them, but of course these horses were well trained, they were worked well, and they weren't so frivolous as that. But this, as a young fellow, you always thought about. But when you went in through the door, the smell of the horses and the chaff and one thing, it gave you a thrill. And when you looked at them, oh, much more of a thrill, because they really shone. They were well looked after, washed down and given olive oil for their coats and one thing and the other. They were really a credit to the old coal owners, I think. I feel sometimes that they were looked after better than the men.
It was a board which the old winders, they use it as more or less of a backrest. We always seem to want to carve our name in the board. There's one name up there now, FM Farnham Moore. Now, he was the pitman, plus boss the surface, you know, what have you. He was the man in charge. There was E.T., which was the foreman blacksmith, Emmanuel Turner. There was I. Jones, which his name was Isaiah Jones. He was a sharper. My own name is on there, by the way, too, D.L. Witchell. But I was just an ordinary striker then in the shop. No doubt, I would have been up there for about 70, 80 years altogether.
Yes, my father, he worked in the mine before me, also my brother. My brother then was called up for the forces, served in the forces, injured in the forces. Came out, he's now working in a factory, and has suggested for a very long time that I should have done the same. But still, some of us, we still pursue it, although there are certain hazards as far as they're concerned. I think that we get more comradeship in this industry than probably we'd get in any other.
And there's always a call for our coal. And, you know, when other people have been short and we've sent our coal down to them to help them out, they're clamouring for more coal from us. So really, you know, we're not meeting the demand for our coal.
The big pit will stop winding coal. The men will move on to other jobs, to other fields. But more than a century's working at Blaenavon will leave more than a passing imprint on the mountain.